5-year today. Tomorrow we've got 10-year and then 30-year coming out the day after that. And then what you do see, the big story has been in the oil space. What you have seen once again with concern of escalation, oil prices higher. This is the June contract for both and 74 on Brent, 99.58 on WTI. 2 hours away from the cash open. Here are your morning movers with Yahira Anand. Yahira.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you're watching the Morning Forecast Show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you can hit the like button on your way in, that will be great. We are now covering the potential escalation coming in less than 12 hours time. We are looking at escalation in terms of Trump looking to strike energy facilities, all bridges, civilian infrastructure, essentially very shortly if a deal is not reached, and it hasn't looked like a deal has been close to being reached for the last 30 days. It doesn't look like there's a deal in sight, even though we do keep getting told that there is a deal very imminent. So we hope to see a deal. Everyone's hoping to see a deal, but yeah, you need to be prepared for there not to be a deal. Let's have a look at the markets. Currently, we are looking at, let's go through some of our positions. We've got Ethereum down 0.85%, XRP down 1.26%, Bitcoin down 0.71%, silver down 1% today, the Nasdaq down about 0.5%, the S&P 500 also down about 0.5% in the pre-market trading. If you are here, say hello in the chat. I want to see who is with us, and let me know if you can see and hear me. The S&P 500 down 0.5%. That has accelerated over the last hour. It was actually slightly up this morning, but now it's dropped about 0.8% in the last 2 hours. FTSE down slightly this morning. Bonds flat, gold flat, oil up 1.8%, holding above $110 for a few days now. 3 days we've been above $110. That's 3 days in terms of trading days. It was around 110, above $110 over the weekend as well. But those weren't trading days. Approaching the highs of the year now. So tonight's strikes could certainly send oil up to 52-week highs, and the highest prices since the COVID era, 2022, the oil spike in 2022. So, and it won't take much, in all honesty, if the escalation does happen, which no one wants, but it won't take much for oil to head back up to the 2022 highs and maybe another 15%. And then we would start looking, if we break those levels, then we'll start looking at 2008 levels. We all know what happened after 2008 when oil hit those prices. We got a severe recession. So again, this is the final straw, guys. Today is make or break. Another 30% up on oil, and we'll be at essentially all-time highs on oil. Has oil ever been higher than then? No, we'll be approaching 2008 levels. It really won't take much for oil to get to those levels, especially if the escalations happen today. So make or break, 12 hours to go. Hopefully there's a deal, but it just never seems like it was plausible. It does look like it was a tactic used by Trump to make it seem like a deal was being made, but it just doesn't look that way. We do hope there is a deal. Let's go and welcome everyone into the show who is here. We do have a poll running right now. Road Pro is here. Robert Elliott says, good morning, Sensei, and everyone. Louis Fontaine says, good morning, love for the content. Thank you, Louis Fontaines. Really appreciate it. Ganja says, hello. Heard it from Cliff says, hello. Lee Stone Ashton says hello as well. Mahir says hi, Sensei, and everyone. Yolanda says hello, everyone. Hi, folks, says Kurt. Ganja says good morning, everyone. Abu Casey says good morning, all. Let's go green. Yeah, let's hope for a green day. That will mean we get a peace deal. Zach Zate says good morning, Sensei, and you all. Hello, Zach Zate. Lovely to have you here. Lee Stun Ashton says hope everyone's good from the UK. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Sensei, and everyone. Good morning, says Paul D. Let me drop this link in the chat. There's another 3 available today. Friday is the day we cut off the deal, and the deal will no longer be there, but we're giving away 3 people at 50% off every day. Let me pin that. That's for the newsletter, the chart training course, the 3 private indicators, the daily newsletter, the deep dives, the portfolio challenge, and much more. It's all included in that. So I'm going to pin that. And you can see that life, light, truth says good morning, all. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. Let's go through some of today's top stories. Let's go to our very own newsletter. Trump sets Iran strike deadline. Tehran faces infrastructure demolition if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed past tonight's 8 p.m. cutoff. Oracle hires energy CFO. So we've got Schneider Electric's Hillary Maxson joins to steer a $50 billion debt raise for AI power infrastructure. We've got a new CFO for Oracle. We also have Jamie Dimon warning of an inflation shunk. JP Morgan's chief cautions that war-driven oil shocks could force the Fed to keep rates higher for longer. We saw his letter to investors just yesterday. President Xi accelerates green energy pivot. China fast-tracks nuclear and solar build-out to insulate its economy from Middle East energy shocks. Let me just make sure that's running. Investors target AI water usage. Shareholders demand site-level transparency as data centers consume record resources, threatening build-out timelines. US tracking rates hit 2022 highs. Diesel spikes drive freight surcharges to 3-year peaks, feeding directly into incoming CPI print. I think, is it CPI tomorrow? Let's have a quick look at the economic calendar. If we go, let's just clear this all out. Go to the US. Let's go high impact. Cancel that. It's not tomorrow. Tomorrow we get minutes, so that's something we'll be covering. But let me expand this calendar. We got CPE is on Thursday, CPI is on Friday. So here we go. This is going to get interesting over the next few days. So tomorrow we've got FOMC minutes. That's going to be highly important. Thursday we've got CPE, which is the Fed's PCE, core PCE, which is the Fed's preferred metric for inflation. And then on Friday, we've got CPI. Wow, 3 days, three big bits of data that's going to affect what the Fed does. So today is all about escalation or de escalation. And then the next 3 days is all about what the Fed is going to do and how they're going to navigate this situation. So that will be interesting. We'll be covering that all on the show. Markets are currently underpricing a massive geopolitical tail risk as President Trump's 8 p.m. deadline for Iran to reopen the strait arrives. Despite threats of total infrastructure demolition, oil and equity traders have largely ignored the ultimatum after 4 previous deadline extensions. This boy who cried wolf sentiment has left investors dangerously underpositioned for a genuine military escalation. If strikes occur tonight, the resulting energy shock would likely force the Federal Reserve to abandon rate cuts as diesel prices and shipping costs already sit at multi-year highs. Investors face a binary outcome where complacency meets a potential historic volatility spike. So let's make a wild prediction for the day then. Obviously, there's two things. One is peace deal. Maybe three. One is we get a peace deal. Very unlikely. Number two is we get a full-on escalation where it will be big strikes from the US targeting what many people would say is civilian infrastructure, which many people would say is potential war crimes hitting these locations. We get a major escalation, which is obviously going to crash the markets, or we get somewhere in between where we just get some strikes but not complete demolition of all these sites, which will still be bad. With those three options in front of us, really, those I would say those are the main three options we have. Um, what would happen to the markets? Well, we've just said the most likely option is probably not a peace deal. It's probably not a total obliteration. It's probably somewhere in between, which will mean for the rest of the day, I would expect the markets to trend down. The longer we go without any news of a peace deal, maybe there is a peace deal, and be prepared for that peace deal to come and to pump the markets. But without any news of a peace deal, and the longer we go out on through the day towards the market close with no signs of peace, which we're already seeing no signs of peace deals being confirmed, then I would expect, dubiously speculating, that the market will just bleed all the way until those strikes, or all the way until that time, and then the market will digest how bad the strikes were and how bad the retaliation is going to be, which we've already seen that they're going to retaliate by hitting US bases, US infrastructure, oil within the region potentially are some of the targets that Iran would hit if the US goes through with this. So we will probably, over the day, when the market will open and throughout the day, I would expect the market just to trend down. I don't see why it would trend up. I don't see why. Again, the market is expecting Trump to pull out. They're expecting nothing to really happen because that's what's happened the last 4 times. But if you're going to take, I would say that this time I don't think Trump can really pull out because he's given multiple speeches about today as being the final deadline. And if that is the case, the closer we get to that timeline with no updated communication from Trump and no signs of a peace talk, then I would expect the market just to bleed and bleed throughout the day. So maybe maybe we're not going to be any higher than the prices we're at right now on the day. I would potentially expect the S&P 500 to even have a 1% down day, a 2% down day. Continuously going lower if we don't get any news, or we get news that the peace deal is completely there is no sign of peace. And remember, if you looking at Polymarket, and this is a good way of gauging where the market's at, what is the chance we get peace buy today. I mean, it's worth taking a bet on, isn't it? By saying yes, there is going to be peace today, but it's 2%. That would mean if you put $5 down that there's going to be a ceasefire today, you'll get $238 back. Again, that is certainly not condoning gambling, but even by April the 15th, $5 gets you $38 back. So no one's really expecting a ceasefire even this month. Even by April the 30th, if you put $5 down, you get $17 back. So even the market is not pricing in a peace deal. They're pricing in the peace deal somewhere between May the 31st and June the 30th. So that'll be pricing it in June. So the market's not pricing in a peace deal. It's unlikely we're going to get a deal today. It's more likely, in my opinion, that we're just going to bleed for the rest of the day until we see how bad those strikes are and how bad that retaliation is going to be. So certainly be prepared for that. Let me just go back to your comment, see who has just joined us. Life Like Truth says good morning. Ricardo says good morning. Banana Heads heard from Cliff. We are go down big time after a massive strike on Iran. XRP will go down to buck real quick and then rebound after a couple of days. The chart, however, shows a bullish divergence. Thank you, Heard It from the Cliff, for your information. Smash, if you want to know all about bullish and bearish divergence, go and watch the chart course that's just come out. Ricardo says smash the like button. Tidy Big Dog says hello everyone. Yes, please do smash the like button. Thank you, Ricardo. Peace deal would make for a very large pump. Very large pump. Yeah, I mean we could go up 2, 3, 4, 5% on the day. Maybe that'll continue for a couple of days, slowly fading and then probably rolling over, because at the end of the day, a lot of damage has been done, in my opinion. Potato Family says hello. Abu Katie says, Sensei, there is rumors that the EU is banning Ethereum and Tether. Have you seen any information that it's true and how it affects XRP? Let's do a quick search. EU banning Ethereum. I mean, it'll be over some major news networks if it's true. Oh, sorry. No, there doesn't seem to be any credible reports of that. No credible reports of the EU banning USDT. Tether and Binance left out everything. Make your 30 USDT future and your potential ban. No, nothing. Look, there is always going to be new regulations and new MiCA regulations that will potentially mean that they might have to change the way they operate, maybe in regards to USDT, for example. But there's no specific ban on USDT itself. Or Ethereum. So if it was, it would be over some of the more mainstream crypto news networks, and it isn't. So I wouldn't be too worried about that right now, Abu Katie. Kimberly says, hello, lovely to have you here. Okay, so how many likes do we have on the show? Let me check. Is everyone hitting the like button on their way in? Let me have a look. Okay, so 134 likes and 150 people watching. That is a crazy ratio. What is going on, guys? There's 156 people watching and only 34 likes. Please take a second to hit the like button. What is going on? Okay, I'm gonna have to wait here. I'm gonna have to give you guys some time to hit that like button, because it doesn't look like we will continue if we're only gonna get 34 likes with 156 people watching. So please, let's get at least to 60 likes. We can get at least to 60 likes. I mean, that should be very easy. People watching. Let me refresh it and check again. 44 likes. We're nearly there. Another 15 likes and we can continue. Let's go back to your comments. Hey Sensei, work's been crazy. I'm finally getting a chance to dive into your Trading View series. I set up my account. My username is David Hensley. I can thank you for thank you for your message, but please don't send it on a live chat. There's no way I can onboard you while we're live. There's no reason to send your your Trading View username on a live chat. Go into Discord, open a ticket, and then after the show, I can onboard you. Once this show ends, I can't see your username anymore. So David Hensley, please go into Discord, open a ticket, or send me a private message on Substack, whatever's easiest, um, and send me your Trading View username there. What David Hensley is referring to there is our private indicators. They've just launched. They're on our charts. I mean, we can showcase some of them here. Let's go to the S&P 500. Let's just remove our drawings for a bit of clarity. And we've got three different indicators: short term, medium term, long term. Essentially, if we're looking at our short term one, this flipped bearish on the S&P 500 on February the 12th, and since then we're down 10% on the S&P 500, so a perfect call there on the trigger alert. If we look at the momentum band, potentially we can see that as resistance just up ahead. We can even add our crossovers on that. Yeah, we've got our crossovers on. But yeah, resistance just up ahead on the S&P 500 as well. So we can certainly go test that and then continue lower. That is also on the bearish side right now. And then the deep trend is the support we've just bounced off. Let's see if that breaks. We're going to start looking at the 200-week, which is a lot lower down. That's our long-term support. So those three indicators you can put on any chart. You can put on the XRP chart, for example. And you can see last time that flipped bearish was just a week ago on XRP, and the price of XRP has come down about 8% since. So there we go. You can get those three if you are part of the newsletter. There is a 50% off link. That link is in the live chat right now. Oh, we've got a special super chat. Not sure why it's not playing, but I will showcase it on the screen. Kimberly with a $20 super chat. Look at that. Kimberly says, something towards your nappy fund, Sensei. Thanks for all you do for us. Thank you, Kimberly. I really appreciate it. We're gonna have lots of nappies, so I appreciate it. Yeah, so when is the due date? Was the 7th? Now is it next weekend? With the due date, we think he's going to come sooner in than the due date. But the due date is. Oh, why can't I get a calendar? I need a calendar to see what day it is. Yeah, next weekend. Next weekend is the due date. We expect he might come a week early, so potentially this weekend. So yeah, if you are watching, it's gonna get a bit crazy over the next few weeks. So I won't be doing the morning, the morning forecast show as normal, because there will need a little bit of an adjustment period while I also take care of the Sensei news and get those articles going and help my wife in the first couple weeks. So you might see me less often on the channel, but I will still be here behind the scenes in Discord and doing shows when I can. But thank you, Kimberly. Really appreciate it. Cheers from Sunny Player to Carmen, says Jacko. Lovely to have you here, Jacko. Listening from Taiwan on holiday. I think Trump backs off and a watered down peace deal is announced. Thank you, Ashley. Well, we don't have much time. We've got 12 hours, 11 hours. Something needs to come up quickly. Potato Family is upset. Why are you upset, Potato Family? Let me know. Okay. XRP down 1%. Oh, we're showing you we can put our drawings back now. Okay, let's go through some of our top stories today. Markets are currently underpricing a massive geopolitical tail risk as President Trump's 8 p.m. deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz arrives. Despite threats of total infrastructure demolition, oil and equity traders have largely ignored the ultimatum after four previous deadline extensions. This boy who cried wolf sentiment has left investors dangerously underpositioned for a genuine military escalation. If strikes occur tonight, the resulting energy shock would likely force the Federal Reserve to abandon rate cuts as diesel prices and shipping costs already sit at multi-year highs. Investors face a binary outcome where complacency meets potential historic volatility spike. So yeah, the market seems to be a bit underpositioned for what can occur today. Fear and greed index, we're still in extreme fear in the cryptocurrency market and still slightly in the extreme fear on the stock market. Remember, we're in extreme fear is normally when we get the most losses, and we're in extreme greed is normally when we get the biggest gains. But it's certainly worth keeping an eye on because it's also the best time to buy in extreme fear. It's just you need to do it at the right time, not just every time we hit extreme fear. The number that matters. Looks like the AI capital of the world, San Francisco, has hit record highs for prices for their real estate, which is an 18% increase compared to a pretty flat rest of the US for house prices. Winners versus losers are in the newsletter. You can check out the big winners and losers. Let's go over to Trump's final Iran deadline arrives as ceasefire talks collapse. Let me go back to live chat. Let me see what potato. Oh, we will miss you. Yes, potato family. I'll miss you guys too. But we will. I'll take care of the family for maybe 10 days, 2 weeks, and then I'll be back. I'll be back. Streaming, but I will be continuing the newsletter behind the scenes, so you guys can certainly read that newsletter, and I'll be in Discord when I can as well. We also do live streams on important events. More. I'm just giving you guys a heads up that it will be a little bit more unstructured than we normally like. But I'm sure you guys understand. David Hensley says, haven't been on for some personal reasons. All is good though. Missed you guys. Oh, David Hensley, I'm so sorry to hear that. But some things might be going on in the background. We're all here for you, David Hensley. Thank you for all you do, and we certainly missed you too, David. Ganja says, David, I'm sorry to hear, brother. All would be well with prayers and faith in Jesus Christ, says Ganja. David Hensley says, God is definitely good. He for sure gets all the credit. Yes. Do you think we hit the bottom yet? I don't think so, no. You so good, bro. Today I can see Pump It Crypto. Poppin says, why do you look at what markets think, especially Polymarket? These are often wrong, and sometimes their bets change from 2% to 80%. I know that I know that there are a lot of insiders, but they don't know anything. Poppin, unfortunately, your statement is false, and you've been guided or misinformed. So Polymarket, yes, there's insiders, but that doesn't really mean anything. That's a small amount of the of the market. It's the same with the stock market. There's insiders in the stock market that will move the stock price, so that we can ignore that for a second. Uh, um, but I think anyway, you gave that as a point for Polymarket. So I would say insiders don't mean anything really on Polymarket unless we're doing investigative journalism and we uncover some strange bets just before Donald Trump comes out. But that's a different story. So your question is, why do I look at what markets think? Well, because that's what the market's priced in. What Whenever people put money where their mouth is, and that's the same with the stock market because the stock market is taking into account all of the information that's available. The crypto market is doing the same. The betting markets are doing the same as well, just like sports gambling. Yes, the exchange is always going to take its cut, and it's never going to be the precise odds, but it's as close as you can get because that way you can see exactly what's priced in because that's where people are putting money where their mouth is. So when I look at Polymarket, it gives us the best indication of what's going to happen because no one's going to be betting. No, the markets aren't going to be priced. They're going to be priced accordingly to what's most likely to happen. And if something's less likely to happen, the odds will be lower. So when you look at something like Polymarket as a tool to see what's most likely to happen, it will give you a good indication. Does that mean when we look at Polymarket and we look at ceasefire, the 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 ceasefire is going to be exactly in June because that's where it looks like it's over 50% between May and June. Does that mean that's when the ceasefire is going to be? No, because there's just a over a 50% chance. It's still a spin of a roulette wheel or a flip of a coin that it's going to be between May and June. There is still a 26% chance it's going to be in April. In the next 23 days, the market's still pricing in a 26% chances this month. So does that mean it's not going to happen in April? No, it just means uh, it's a 1 in 4 chance, which is certainly not impossible. So um, it gives us a great indication because you can see how much volume is on this. This is $106 million worth of volume on this market. And if you're looking at this, it's going to be somewhat same represented on the stock market. And this is what the market is pricing in currently. Sometimes you can see mismatches. Sometimes for example, on a daily basis, like today, we're seeing the market's not coming down a lot, but also there's only a 26% chance of a ceasefire this month, so that might be a little bit of a mismatch in price, and you can take that data. But it's a really good way, especially now that poly market's bigger and there's more volume on poly market, there's more money flowing on poly market, especially on these bigger markets with high volume. It's a great way to gauge the probabilities of something happening. Now, you also mentioned some things jump from 2 to 80%, and that's true as well. If you go onto some of these really random small markets, remember this is a $106 million volume market, this ceasefire deal, so that's really big. If you go over to something really small and go over, I don't know, to something really small, which has less than $1 million. Um, I'm trying to find one. If we go over to some of these new markets, uh, let's just choose one. Which countries will conduct military action against Iran by April the 30th? This is a 1.4 million, so it's going to be less accurate because there's less money in the market. So sometimes, and there is some things on Polymarket which has less volume than 100,000, and those are the ones you will see being repriced from 2 to 80% because they are just very new markets and there's not a lot of volume. So you have to be careful of what you look at, but it's certainly a great tool to see what is being priced in. Especially when there's $100 million on the line. No one wants to lose $100 million, and if no one wants to be putting money somewhere where they're losing it. So there we go. Sensei, your family safe? Potato family, we haven't. It's very hard. In Iran right now, there is a blackout. Meaning, and it's been since the start of the war, meaning you can't communicate with people in Iran. There is no internet. Sometimes you can get potential phone calls, but it's essentially blackout. You can't talk to anyone. I have no idea. I do have a very large family in Iran. All my immediate family is here in the UK. We've been here since I was born. Um, so, but my extended family, and I've got God knows how many cousins, probably over 100, and then obviously that's my mum has lots of siblings, and my dad has a few siblings as well. So they're all in Iran, most of them, and their families all in Iran, and it's very hard to know. Hopefully the war ends soon, and we can communicate with them. Mark Pierce says, "Good day, Sensei. Watching on a big screen." Oh, hello on the big screen, Mark Pierce. Hi from Australia, mate. Lovely to have you here, Mark Pierce. Tidy Big Dog says hello. Kimberly says, "You're welcome, Sensei." Poppin says, "That's my question. You look, why you look at it? That's my question. Why you look at it? Just the biggest probability right now. Thanks." Poppin, can you re ask that? I don't know what you mean by your latest comment. That's my question. Why do you look at it? I've just explained why I look at it, but then I don't know what you mean by just the biggest probability right now. Thanks. Um, just the biggest probability right now. Just the biggest. I don't know what you mean. Franklin says hi all. Poppin says, I hope your family stays safe, brother. Bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Stage your life. Good morning, Sensei. Bless you, Sensei. Thanks for being with us. Yeah. Let's really hope there's going to be a peace deal today. Poppin says, I said that's my question. Your question, you were saying that it's wrong, right? You were saying that polymarket's wrong. Okay. Are you saying you understand why I look at it now? So many of us appreciate your time. Thank you, Cal, too. Really appreciate it. So just mean thank you, man. Oh, Poppin, great, great. You understand why I look at it now. Okay, got it. You understand why I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm glad you understand why I look at it now. Thank you. That means I answered your question. Thanks. Okay, today, make or break. Time is up. Is something going to happen, or are we on to the next phase of escalation? Let's see. Well, the 5-week-old war in Iran reaches its most dangerous inflection point today. No one likes war. No one wants war. Everyone wants peace. Diplomacy always wins. President Trump set an 8 p.m. Eastern Time deadline for Tehran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or faced what he described as complete demolition of every bridge and power plant in the country. That would be. Oh, markets just dropped. Just keep an eye on the markets. They just had a little bit of a drop. I wonder if that's based off news. Let's go over to Bloomberg for a second.
And Jahira.
Hi, Lisa. Positive news out of Washington lifting the insurance sector, with the government coming out with a better than expected update on Medicare, raising payments by about 2.5%, translating to about $13 billion flowing back into the industry. And importantly, it's a clear step up from the initial rates proposed back in
We need to go over to breaking news, guys. Bear with me. Let's go over to breaking news. Oh, ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. Here we go. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radical minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? This is Donald Trump's latest Truth Social post only 30 seconds ago. We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in a long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the people of Iran. That is a. What is going on? Oh no. Oh, what a way to start a post. A whole civilization will die tonight. There it is. What a. I mean, this is a president of the free world saying something like this. I don't know. Look, I'm not going to get political. I think a lot of things that Trump has done is great. I think what he's done with the border is great. I think tariffs, you might not like them, and they might not be good for the global economy, but they bring great things to the US and nationalize it. And if you're America first, then it's probably a good thing. But I cannot get behind this. I cannot get behind the way Donald Trump has been uh, acting with this war. I cannot get it behind the fact that there was no credible source saying that there's an imminent threat. No world agency would say that there was an imminent threat. His own staff were quitting after the war started because they said this is an illegal war and there was no imminent threat. No one is saying that the Iranian government is the best government in the world and they don't have their problems. But this is not the way to act. Sorry, guys. This is just it's quite. That first sentence took me back. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. This is a post from Donald Trump just moments ago. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change, which is actually a lie, there is no regime change. What's happened is he's got rid of Khamenei, and he's just put in his son. And if it's not his son, then it's just someone who's more hardline. So that's completely untrue. Regime change would be a different government, which wouldn't be part of the Islamic Republic. Anyway, so that's a lie. Let's just call that out straight away. However, we have a complete and total regime change. So no, we don't. Where different, smarter, and less radical minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. So he is reiterating the tonight deal, and this does look the tonight ultimatum, and it does look like there is no going back now. There is no more tacoing out this one. So we will find out tonight. Let's highlight that because that just shows us that's continuing. One of the most important moments in a long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death. And we'll finally, God bless. Like this is compare the last sentence to the first sentence. I don't know how they can go hand in hand. A whole civilization will die tonight, never be brought back. And then the last sentence is God bless the people of Iran. What is going on? Let's go over to Bloomberg. Let's go over to your comments first, actually. That is breaking news coming out. The Okay, let's see. What's everyone's reaction? We've just got Donald Trump posting right now. The market's dropped, but they're coming back up. No reaction from the markets yet. I'm sure they will react when Trump does, if he does wipe out a whole civilization. I mean, what's he talking about? Nuclear? Yeah, what's going on? You're welcome, Sensei. I hope your family stays safe. Thank you, Poppin. Good morning. Bless you, Sensei, for being with us. So many of us appreciate your time. Thank you so much. The blackout will help keep everyone safer than if all the info was shared. So sending so much positive energy for you and for the family. Thank you. Are you following the XRP conference in Tokyo? Not currently. Is that happening now? Kurtz says, crikey. Tale of the unexpected says, less radicalized minds. He is insane. Mark Pierce says, so savage. Cantor says he is a war criminal. There it is. I don't know. I'm not going to give. Oh, Martin is calling in. Let me open up the interview. Why is that not? Make the deal or bye-bye, says VZ. VZ Fat Cat, that's a crazy comment. Make a deal or bye-bye, that's a crazy comment. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll bring this tweet on the screen, and we've got Martin calling into the show. Martin, lovely to have you on the show. Welcome to the morning forecast.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm terribly sorry to hear what you just reported some moments ago. I can now report it's already begun. Trump has already launched attacks on Carg Island. So this does look like it's happening. I am speechless. I am, even though I am from England and I am born and raised in England, I live in America. I'm married to an American. I have a green card. I find this absolutely repulsive that the president of the United States, and I know this will upset a lot of people. I think you just said the same thing. Sometimes you just can't hold back, and you shouldn't hold back, because if you do hold back, you are complicit. You are part of the problem. You have to call things out. The way I know a lot of our audience do support Donald Trump, and that's fine. As you said, Sensei, we agree with some of the things he's done. We disagree with some of the things he's done. But the leader of the free world come out and say a whole civilization will die tonight, when we're talking about women and children and just regular folks like yourself going about your daily business. If you'd been in Iran today, you would be in target of Donald Trump. I find this absolutely repulsive. I find it offensive. I find it disgusting. And I'm embarrassed to say I'm in America today. How this can stand, I have no idea, but it's already begun. There's already attacks on Carg Island happening as we speak. And I'm sure Donald Trump isn't going to wait until the last moment. I mean, we know he always chickens out and he does all sorts of stupid things, but it seems a bit ridiculous to launch the attacks at the exact moment that you say it's, coming, the deadline runs out. So I don't know what we're going to get today. I'm continually buying. I'm staying in the market. Remember the whole phrase, buy the cannon, sell the news. You can't price in World War III, but you can price in World War I, World War II, and all the previous crashes. And all the previous crashes tell us when it starts, or near to the beginning, the first 10%. If you look at the First World War, Second World War, it bottomed in the first 10 months, which is about 20%, 10 to 15% into the war. Well, if we assume that this will be over within a few more weeks, then we are way over 10%, aren't we? So I don't know. I don't know how to price it. You can't price it. Balance sheets. I was gonna cover a satirical story this morning. I don't know if I should or not. A bit of a joke stream involving Mr. Whippy and his favorite ice cream van. I had it all ready to go. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. In times like this, I don't know what else you can do, but other than laugh. My dad would tell me in the Second World War, the Londoners. My dad was a Londoner, Cockney. They would go under they would go underground and sing songs and laugh at Hitler while they were being bombed in London. I mean, this is what we do, right? You either do that or cry. I mean, what do you do? I don't know what to say to everybody today. The markets are ridiculous. You may have saw last night some very, very unusual market movements on VUG. Sensei, perhaps in a moment when I hand you back, perhaps you could look at VUG last night. It was at 7:05 last night. We saw VUG, which is Vanguard's growth index, a bit like the S&P 500, but focusing on tech. It dropped down. I think nearly 3%. And it held there for 5 minutes. And when I looked into it, sometimes through liquidity, these things can happen, a chart error, things can go down, go back up again. It's not a real sell-off, but it held down for 5 minutes. There was some sell-offs, some buy-ins. And this morning, I just cannot get a buy limit order to go through. So something's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if those that have all the money and the power are sending the market down to buy it back up. You know who we're talking about. We've reported on it many times. But yeah, go and look at VUG. It was at 7:05 last night. It was down for 5 minutes. You couldn't get in. I mean, that's a lot. 2.5% on a main index is a lot. Is probably hundreds of billions. I don't know. Anyway, Sensei, I'll hand it back to you. Really, the only thing to say today of certainty is love to you. I can't even imagine how you're broadcasting right now. If someone just told me, if the president of the United States, who's been bombing all over my country, had told me he's just about to wipe a whole civilization will die tonight, referring to the British, the English, where I live, I would be absolutely violently sick, and I would be on a plane back to England, and I'd be picking up my gun and aiming it at the sky, looking for any plane that flew over. I find that absolutely offensive, disgusting, and I'm struggling to hold back from tears. This is not how to behave. A president, I don't care who you are, what your thoughts are. You don't go around saying tonight a whole civilization would die, because if you do, you've now joined the comparison of someone we all know very well. Adolf Hitler would say exactly the same thing. So, Donald Trump, congratulations. You're right there with Adolf Hitler. I will hand it back to you, Sensei. Love to you and your family. Please stay safe. And I send all my wishes to your family. And I don't even know what to broadcast this morning. I really don't. Sensei, go and look at VUG. I'll hand it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Martyn. Okay, so if you have just tuned in, we just had Martyn on the show. He's doing a show in 10 minutes' time on the opening bell after this breaking news of Donald Trump just putting out this Truth Social post, which has certainly stirred up some emotions here. When we report on news like this, we don't want to be doing this. We want to be going back to markets, finding the best balance sheets, looking at charts, looking at crypto, but it all means nothing while this war's going on, and it's all in the hands of Donald Trump's and his Truth Social posts. Over the last few days, we've seen reports of how he's been saying certain posts like this one the other day. Tuesday will be the power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. And he said that on Easter Sunday, and then today's post, whole civilization will die tonight and never be brought back. I mean, what a strange thing. Even if he's talking about, I don't know how you can interpret that, but maybe you can interpret that as he's talking just about the regime. And if he is, then fair enough, he can say that, but you can't say it in that manner, because if you're saying it like that, you're talking about a whole civilization. That you can't refer to a regime as a civilization, because that's not a civilization. The civilization is the people of Iran, which apparently this war was all about, liberate the people of Iran. But instead we got 40 hospitals being bombed, schools being bombed, schoolgirls being killed, and now power plants and civilian infrastructure and bridges, which is against all Geneva Conventions, going ahead. So there's only so much we can say. As I said, I agree with a lot of Donald Trump's policies, but I certainly don't agree with war. I certainly don't agree with entering wars. I certainly don't think this is something he ran on, and I think he lied to the people of America when he went into this. So here we go, another pretty sure move that this is going to escalate tonight. So be prepared for the downside. And I just hope we get a peace deal. I just hope Donald Trump comes to actually puts a decent proposal on the table, something that's actually possible to agree on. Even something like we had a day before the bombing started, where it seemed like Steve Witkoff and JD Vance were very close to a deal the day before the bombing. At the end of the day, we just hope that there is a deal and no more innocent civilians have to die. Okay, let's go to your comments for what the hell is going on here? Um, 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 yeah, this is definitely gonna. There we go. We've got. Oh, look, we welcome everyone on the channel, and we all have our opinions. Someone might completely disagree with me, and that's fine. Someone might completely disagree with Martyn, that's fine. As long as we're all staying respectful to each other, and free speech is here. So I might disagree with what Donald Trump's doing. Someone might love what Donald Trump's doing. As long as we're not inciting violence and we're not being uh as long as we're not let me just check what this is. Yeah, as long as we're not inciting violence or being too rude in the chat, then everyone's opinions are valid. At the end of the day, we have free speech. We just don't want people to incite violence. And there we go. Let me go through the comments. The regime change happening here, says Gander. The regime changes happening are here, says Gander. David Hensley says, I would be willing to bet Trump is not talking about what. Yes, I covered that point. Tale of the unexpected. Watch the gold and silver contract markets. Do you think a cash will be the first stop? David Hensley says, they're putting civilians around places Trump said the US will bomb. They're putting civilians around places. Yeah, well, you can't really move civilians from hospitals. I mean, the hospitals are being hit. School. I mean, there was a girls' school which had 200 schoolgirls, and that got bombed. I mean, that was a school. They didn't just build a school and put it there. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. VZ infrastructure like bridges. What do you want? People not to leave their house. Tales of the unexpected. Crash, not cash. Oh right, okay. Now I understand. Ghana. Sorry, I need to know. Garnada says Trump needs to be in a mental institution. Again, anyone can say what they like. This is free speech as long as we're not inciting violence. Ganja says he's talking about the IRGC, not the Persian. So you're saying the IRGC is a civilization? But I thought he's negotiating. But then the next sentence is saying that they are very different, smarter, and maybe something wonderful. So that wouldn't make sense either. He may be talking about not you. Man, Trump is the biggest POS ever. I don't know what that means. I'll be buying the dip. Good luck, VZ. Allogic says, didn't the US sign off an MOAB? I don't know what that is. An MOAB bomb. It doesn't sound nice though, does it? They have 5 MOA. Oh god, I don't even want to type in MOAB. MOAB. Let's see what type of bomb this is. What's this? The mother of all bombs, the largest non-nuclear bomb in the US military arsenal, developed in 2000 for the Iraq. This is 21,000 pound bomb. Oh Jesus. Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, but use it right. Well, let's hope not. God bless Iran and the Middle East. Thank you, Ghana, for your comment. Ricardo says Americans wanted this. Let's not be liberal about it. Sarcasm. Yeah. 3 days, and the people of the whole Emmy will know. Middle East will have will not have any water to drink. What a madman! Let's hope it does not. That's not the case. But yeah, I mean, he said he can hit desalination plants, which is a global humanitarian crisis. I mean, you wonder why there's refugees going everywhere in the world. It's all starts with all the bombing in the Middle East. And then we've got refugees all over the place, and then all sorts of problems are formed by that. Jeffrey says, Martyn for president with class. So Martyn for president with class. VZ Cat, he's not messing around. Jennifer says, I agree with everything you just said. I think that was when Martyn was talking. Thank you, Jennifer. Ashley says, I liked Trump at the start, but he's just turning out to be an utter nut job, says Ashley. I think a lot of people are feeling that way currently, especially with the how the release of the Epstein files went and how he promised that on this first day, and that didn't happen. And then as soon as the media was all over that, the war started, and then also how it looks like he's just doing whatever Israel wants. And he got reports of him being dragged into the war. Even JD, what was it? Was it JD? Not JD Vance. One of his close members was saying that it was because Israel was going to attack and there was going to be count. Oh, Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio said that. Kimberly says, "I am completely shaken in my spirit. My heart breaks for the innocent people of Iran." Yes, it's always the innocents. We don't. No one cares about the murderers. It's the innocent people that we care about. David Hensley says, "War is definitely ugly." Yeah, especially a war that didn't need to be started. I mean, there was absolutely um, Trump's own head of Homeland Security, or was it the counter-terror? Resigned because there was no imminent threat. There was no imminent threat of anything. I mean, there was a deal on the table, and this happened. So war when there is no reason is certainly ugly. VZ, I buy, it shall pass. Kimberly says, music kills the world. Yes, we love Friday nights with Martyn. Daket Tech said, you earned my respect. I think that's when Martyn was talking. Thank you, Dara Tech. Welcome to the channel. I laugh at war. I was born in it, says VZ Fat Cat. They're using this system to reset, keeping you sidetracked. Bye, bye, bye. Lunch Strength is here. Lunch Strength says, maybe we should ask the 45,000 people that were slaughtered what they want. The wrestlers that were hung or the gay community that have been thrown off buildings. Yeah, no one is certainly arguing that the Iranian regime is the moral regime that's the best regime in the world. That's certainly not being argued. But also would have to verify the 45. I mean, what number's too high? But again, the 45,000 number needs to be verified. Just like all the numbers around the world need to be verified, like how many people were killed in Gaza. No one, we need to get verified numbers, not just random numbers, which unfortunately we don't have. But yeah, we should ask the people, and unfortunately, the people are certainly not in favor of the war. Any more death? Tale of the Unexpected says Mussolini. CN Shoot says kings have done this forever. Yes, that's true. Lance says 100. VZ, you're spot on. That's what I was talking about to this day. I officially okay. Sim Maverick, what? You are the enemy. Okay, Martyn, apparently you're the enemy, says Sim Maverick. That's a crazy comment. VZ Fat Cat says, just because people disagree. Look, I could be completely pro Biden. Let's pretend for a second. I love Biden. I think he's not sleepy. I think his policies are amazing. Does that mean we have to say things like that? Does that mean you guys have to hate me? Does that mean we need all the hate in the world? Or can we just live our lives with someone being a Trump supporter and someone supporting Biden? Let's just put it that way. I'm certainly not a Biden supporter. And to be fair, I'm not a Trump supporter, if you want to ask my opinion. But let's say I supported Trump and you support Biden. Does that mean I hate you as a person? Does that mean I'll use language like you are the enemy because you support Biden? No. We can't keep living in a world of hate. We can't keep living in a world where one person keeps fighting the other. We can't keep living in this world. We need to get on with each other. We need to understand each other's perspectives. And if we disagree at the end of the day, let's just have a normal conversation about it. Let's not just attack each other. Abu Katie's, and that's why this channel's for everyone. This is a community. There is Trump supporters, there's Biden supporters, there's people that are not even from the US, there's people that support Keir Starmer, people that support Nigel Farage. It doesn't matter. We're all people at the end of the day, and we all just want to reach financial freedom. I mean, we all just want to care for our own family, and we don't want to really be involved in all this politics at the end of the day. We're all human beings. So again, this channel is a community. Everyone is welcome as long as we are respectful to each other and each other's opinions. The world right now is politics right now is how divisive can we be? How much can we hate the other party? I completely disagree with that. Mark Pierce says, sorry you have to endure this sensei with this coverage. My thoughts go out to you and everyone's so sad. Thank you, Mark Pierce. Thank you for your comment. Tale of the unexpected, save Iran, it holds all our history. Yeah, the history in it. I mean, if you guys actually see what Iran is like, it is the most wonderful country out there. I mean, all four seasons, all the cities, all the history. It's the oldest civilization. The people are wonderful. And we're at risk of wiping out this civilization. Wow, Trump as Hitler is a dumb comment. I'm dumb, says Potato Family. Um, VZ Fat Cat, go Trump, says VZ Fat Cat. I love it. I don't mind people having disagreements in comments. Did you hear? Ganja said, "Did you hear that we are like Germany? I'm 1935. It's not going to happen. Empty threats. Tonight it's not going to happen." Says more Monkey Business. Well, that's the topic of today. Is it going to happen or not? Because if it is going to happen, the market is probably going to bleed for the rest of the day. Um, David Hensley, how do you guys know Trump has not talked about the evil regime over there will kill everyone because they aren't agreeing to terms? Because he's talking about a civilization. I mean, you can't really call a regime a civilization. And then in his next sentence, I mean, it doesn't make sense for him to talk about the people, and it doesn't make sense for him to talk about the regime because the very next sentence is we have a complete and total regime change, different, smarter, and less radicalized. So he certainly doesn't want to take them out. So I don't know um, what he means. You can see the strings. Stevie says cheapest place to find Bitcoin as I ran. Cheapest place to find Bitcoin as I ran at 1,600 per coin. Talks of energy infrastructure. Put the pieces together. Oh right, yeah. Mining Bitcoin in Iran is very cheap. Plain Sailor says if you look at any video blogger going to Iran, it's nothing like what's told in the media. Yeah, guys, watch. Certainly, I mean, everyone has this perception of Iran of just everyone running around wearing burqas and everyone everyone radicalized and everyone bombing each other and whatever some people think of Iran. But even now, go and look at the vloggers in Iran and go and look at the culture, look at the people. I mean, it's completely different to what we imagine it like being. David Hensley says, "Let's respect our differences of opinion," says David Hensley. Yes, exactly. 1978 Buckley. I'm a political atheist. Two wings on the same dirty bird. Our national bird should be a buzzard. It says 1978 Buckley. I love it. Songs for Space. Just make money off geopolitics. I never want to work again. David Hensley, I'm 100% pro Trump, but that does not mean I dislike someone that's not like Trump. That seems to be more on the Democrats' point of views to hate everybody. Kidding. I agree with you, Sensei. Spot on. Thank you, Rallo. Stevie says it costs 1,300 to mine one Bitcoin in Iran. It costs 65,000 US. Put the pieces together. It's always about money, power, and greed. All these wars, I don't ever buy. It's for the people. It's never for the people. I mean, what's going on right now? Everyone's inflation is going to go higher. The cost of living is going to go higher. Wars happening, which is not good for anyone, and people are dying on the ground. And Iran's got more money because they're charging because the sanctions got removed by Trump, and they also are charging people to go through the strait. So everyone loses. The only people that are winning are the people in power. Songs to Space says Google pumped great. Martin was right again. Yes, he was. Thailand says don't forget it's 8 p.m. EST. So that I think that UK time that's Wednesday morning 1 a.m. So I think we're 5 hours ahead. So yeah, it will be 1 a.m. We should liberate Nigeria. Shame we have they have nothing we want, says Jeffrey. uh, yes, chat for Jacko says smiling emoji. Wookie says I hate to be the guy who has to explain all of this to the crew of Armetheus when they get back. Hello, Sensei says yes, and lovely to have Yasin here today. Rallo says I am a Trump supporter and I think there will be an out in this war. I just wish sometimes he would stay off True Social. Plain Sailor. Roman Empire 2.0, they learned to have illusion of diversity. USA is right arm of the Commonwealth. Great newsletter this morning. Thank you, Yeston. I appreciate it. Well said, man, says Plain. Rallo, I wish Trump would chill out on the comments too sometimes. It kind of hurts things from time to time. Songs for Space says the cars in Iran remind me of the Soviet Union. Yeah, you just can't import any cars. again, with all the sanctions and everything going on. Josh Mahoney says, I agree with Trump and disagree with Trump. That's a way healthier way to view things than you're not one-sided. I know quite a few people in Iran that support Trump, says Steve Ree. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's quite a few people in Iran that support Biden, and I'm sure there's quite a few people in Iran that support the regime. Thanks for your comment, though. Jeff says, "Sensei, you always keep your you keep your emotions and feelings in check. That is why you're the best. Thank you for everything you say and do, Sensei." Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate it. Jacko says a nuclear Iran would be much worse for the markets and humanity than what is happening right now. This is the fifth iteration warfare scenario, unfortunately. Thank you for your thoughts. Plain Sailor says crypto holding, but again, I mean that statement can be true, it can be false, whatever. Let's say it's true. I think it's much better that no one. It's just much better that people don't have nuclear weapons. But then for that statement to be true, if you are an evidence-based person, you would have to have credible intelligence that says they are having that they are making nuclear weapons. And I'm not saying they are, they're not. But what I'm saying is I'm a man of charts, fundamentals. I like to see facts. And unfortunately, to this date, there's still been no credible facts to say that they were close to getting a nuclear weapon or that they were building a nuclear weapon. In fact, the so-called supreme leader, which said that it's against the whole religion, and he's a leader of a potential leader of a religion that got assassinated. That said, nuclear weapons are completely against what we stand for and weapons of mass destruction. So he completely put a ruling against it. Now people will say that the new leaders are actually more hardline than him, so they might actually want a nuclear weapon more. So I'm not saying that they weren't building a nuclear weapon. I'm not saying that they were, but for your statement to be true, Jacko, it would mean that they were actually building a nuclear weapon. And I'm a man of facts, and I'd like to see the evidence, because all we've seen so far is credible people in the US government, including people that Trump nominated, are resigning because they said there was no credible intelligence of that, and that it was just because Israel wanted to attack Iran that the US had to get involved. Plain Sailor says crypto holding steady. Bitcoin is getting a bullish retest of the weekly diagonal trend line. Iran is a beautiful country. Yes, it is. Dean says, I hope we all get to visit it soon. It started Karg Island under attack. Thank you for that, Dean. Steve ZBCN says crypto pump incoming, load up, great time to buy. Jackie says fifth generation warfare scenario. Plain Sailor said Tehran is bigger than London. The West are ashamed. And by the way, I'm from Cornwall. Thank you, Plain Sailor, for your comments. Human Being Liz says hello. We are all from the car. Plain Sailor says every canal in the world charges a toll, not just Iran. Think about the Panama Canal. Ganja says they had rockets that can hit Europe, as does North Korea, Israel. Every country in the world really has them. Whether or not they're going to use it, I mean, it will take them a year to build it back. So I don't really know what the point of the war is. Knocking Start. There is so much wealth to be made without war and bloodshed. Yes, that is true. Look up fifth generation warfare. Thank you, Jacko. Okay, we've got through it. So again, this channel is welcome to everyone, as long as the people are respectful. Like today, obviously, you saw that I was not very happy with this True Social post. I think it's ridiculous coming out of the leader of the free world by saying comments like that and making posts like you did last week with swearing and open up the effing strait, you crazy thing, and then praise be to Allah on Easter. I mean, I thought all of this was just a bit too much. I don't support the war, in all honesty. So but you see my opinions. Does that mean I don't like it? Does that mean I don't like anyone who has a different opinion? No. At the end of the day, we all need to get on. At the end of the day, we don't we can have difference of opinion. That doesn't mean we automatically have to hate each other. This is a community welcome for everyone, as long as you're not inciting violence, as long as you're not showing great hatred to each other. This is a community for everyone. As I said, I love some of the things that Trump's done. I don't like some of the things Trump's done. Do I support Trump? Do I support Biden? No. To be honest, if you want my opinion, I don't support any real government. I just think they're all in it for themselves, for power and control. And at the end of the day, we just have to navigate the markets together so we can reach financial freedom for our own families. So we've all got the same goal, so we can all get on that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will be ending the show and sending you over to Martyn very shortly. Again, tonight does seem like there's going to be escalation. Let's see how big that escalation is and what the retaliation is going to be. Hopefully, there is a peace deal. Everyone wants peace at this point. I imagine. I imagine we can all agree on that as well. But yeah, difficult times for a lot of people, especially the people on the ground. So let's hope for a resolution. Let's hope this ends, and let's hope we can just get back to proper fundamentals and not having to report on Donald Trump every minute, because no one enjoys that. Any final comments? Let's close the poll. I'm going to send you guys to the extra channel, so let me end this poll. Extra. Will Trump actually strike major civil infrastructure tonight? Because remember, we're going after bridges, nuclear plants, or power generation plants. All of those things will maybe not nuclear plants. I don't know if there is any. So bridges and power plants, potentially desalination plants, all of those sorts of things are the targets for tonight. If that happens, Iran has said that they're going to strike back at oil facilities and potentially AI data centers and things like that. So let's hope that doesn't happen, but that is the escalation we are dealing with right now. The closer we get to that deadline, the more the market will sell off if their deal has not been reached. So let's keep an eye on that. Martyn will be live later, but for now, we're going to go over to the extra channel. And the poll results were yes, major escalation says 34%. It is going to happen. Limited targeted strikes is 25%. No, pressure tactic only 24%. Unpredictable 17%. So most of you guys think it is going to happen. Take care, folks. Thank you, Sensei Top Show. Just looked it up briefly, and that was interesting. Thanks, Sensei, and everyone for being respectful of the difference of opinions. Yes, exactly. And before I go, 3 people today can get 50% off the newsletter. The newsletter will give you the daily news. It will give you the chart training course, the only chart training course you will ever need. It will give you access to our Discord private channels. It will give you access to the morning forecast newsletter, the charts of the day, the net worth tracker, all of that for 50% off. This ends this week. Only 3 people today, so make sure you get your spot today. Their link is in the live chat. Sensei's going to have a cold shower after all these nasty comments. No, it's fine. Remember weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, that was about Iraq, wasn't it? Weapons of mass destruction, and there was never weapons of mass destruction. It just feels like we're having a repeat. Thank you so much for all you bring to this community. Thank you, guys. Until next time, where you're gonna, if you stay where you are, you're gonna go over to the extra channel. You can continue the conversation there until Martyn goes live. Until next time. I wish you guys all the best. Let's all come together rather than be separated. Forget about the politics and think about we all have the same goal in mind. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.